Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. It's another Thursday Desk Era weekly webinar series. I am Tim McLaughlin here on the sales team with Desk Era. Happy to be here again. Thank you if you're watching live on LinkedIn with us, or if you're watching the recording back on LinkedIn or on YouTube. Appreciate you checking us out today. I am joined by Taylor. Taylor, how are you today?
Hey, good, thank you. My name is Taylor Otto. I'm implementation consultant here at Discara. Excited to be back for another week of the weekly webinars, where we're going to be discussing Shopify to shop floor, the use of API connections to kind of streamline your process.
All right, exciting stuff. So we talk about Descara often in these weekly webinars and our MRP software. Today that we're going to talk about that connection between your e-commerce, which we'll be focusing on Shopify today, but we do integrate with a variety of different platforms. So basically what we're going to be thinking about is how you use Shopify to have your orders placed, and then the way that looks like and the way that connects to Descara, and how we have that two-way communication between the two.
Yeah. Starting with API connections, just how you can set up these connections to whatever sales platform you're using, whether that's Shopify or BigCommerce or WooCommerce or whatever the case may be, and how that's going to save people time and effort instead of having to manually enter information in different softwares, whether you're using a different software for your sales to keep track of your accounting, your MRP, and having something established where you can connect all that together. One of the great benefits of Discara is we have ERP, MRP, CRM all in one, kind of groups that together and connects via APIs to the sales platforms. Let's say, for example, you have 20 orders that you get from Shopify. You can start that process. You can start the production to create those orders in live time. You don't need to wait for someone to enter it in later or at the end of the day, which is going to get your orders out a little bit faster and make your customers happy.
Absolutely. So as opposed to the process of maybe manually pulling out a report at the end of the day on Shopify and then having those be your next day's orders, here we're having that come through real time so you can see what just came through from your e-store there for Shopify. Another thing that we see as a gain, besides the open API connection and the way you have everything communicating two-way in real time, is the modern convenience economy and the way that sales has changed in the past, to where we do have some people and some shop floors where you are still currently getting those orders over the phone, someone taking those details in. But oftentimes we see our clients are using e-commerce platforms such as Shopify, where your user wants to sit on the computer, click that order, put in a few details, and then send that through to your shop, and you get it there seamlessly.
Yeah, absolutely. The times of sales have changed a little bit. The online platforms are becoming more and more popular, and us as consumers, we want to place orders efficiently, and we want to receive those goods as quickly as possible. We've kind of developed that requirement nowadays, where we want things as quick as possible. We order it, we want it. Having these API connections, having platforms that can handle these connections is going to help with that. In a pre-integrated world, you may have a Shopify, but then you'd have to download those orders, create production tickets manually, put those orders into the software separately, maybe separately for your accounting as well. These tools that we have now are so valuable in this modern economy and modern sales to accommodate the consumer and get those orders out as quickly as possible and have that information passed on so seamlessly to allow for production to get started right away.
Yeah, and I think that really does bring us into this next game that we're going to be talking about today, which is that synced stock. So the way that when that order comes through, you'll know what you have on hand in your manufacturing processes. And if you're running low on something, you'll be able to see through both Shopify or your e-commerce store and Descara what your stock levels are at, and be able to adjust appropriately, whether it's stopping orders for a certain product or getting prepared to bring in more materials to create those products. Having that real live time stock synced where you can see two-way communication of what you have on hand and what you're going to need.
Yeah, I think it's incredibly important for your sales platform and your MRP system to be communicating effectively and have those reconciliations done in live time, so you're not overselling and under delivering. If you have 10 items on your in stock left, for some people it's really important that, hey, I don't want to sell anything that I don't have. So when that item's sold out, I'm not taking any more orders for that or any more orders for that. And if you don't have a system in place to have that immediate connection, you could end up overselling something that you don't have, making the consumer unhappy. They won't get their order in time, and it potentially wouldn't look good for your business. So having those connections in place, being able to talk both ways, your sales platform to Descara back to your sales platform, to make sure that your stock levels are syncing in live time as things happen, as you receive those orders, as you fulfill those orders, having that communication.
Absolutely, Taylor. Thank you. All this definitely sounds super valuable. I think I'd love to take a moment to look at how an order coming through on Shopify would look and see the ways that looks coming through to Descara.
Yeah, absolutely. So the title of this webinar is Shopify to Shop Floor. So what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be demonstrating creating an order in Shopify, how that syncs to Descara, and how we can use that to create a work order to send to our shop floor, create that product, and then fulfill that order that we receive as well. So we're going to be going through that entire process today, just to show you and how these API connections work and how efficient this connection is. So what we're going to be doing first is we're going to create an order in Shopify. And I've got a Shopify product here that I've already connected to my demo account called Shopify Bomb here. So we're going to be selling this product for $15. I'm going to have payment due later. So we'll give this customer 30 days to pay this. And I'm just going to create this order in my Shopify account. So I can see here, this is saying payment pending, and this is unfulfilled. I just created this. I haven't received payment yet, and I have not fulfilled this order. And this is order number 1012. So if I go back into my Descara account here, I don't have 1012 here yet, but I'm going to refresh my page. And I can see that this invoice has immediately synced over into my Descara account through the use of an API connection. I can see the e-com store URL, tells me the store that this invoice came from, the customer's name. I didn't add a customer name, so it's just going to say default customer. But if I had an actual customer there, it would tell me the customer name. I've got the invoice number, how much the order was for, how much is due, and again over here, unfulfilled and pending. So in this example, I'm going to convert this to a work order, and I can do this right from this page where I can right click and I can simply create a work order. I have the product that I created. This is the BOM that it takes to make this product, and the operations that are needed as well. I've got one that I'm fulfilling today, so I'm going to create one order here. I've even got my sales invoice number tied to this work order, so everything is mapped there. The number of the product, so that Shopify BOM product is here. And I can see all of that right here. If I have a delivery date I want to change, when my planned end date is, I can add those details here. And then I can simply click Save to start this work order. So I've got my status here. I haven't started this work order yet, but I'm going to go in here and I'm going to look at my BOM explosion screen. And I'm just going to simply allocate these raw materials that I need. And again, maybe this isn't going to happen this quickly, but just for example purposes, I'm going to kind of streamline this process. I'm going to take care of my
manufacturing process running that quickly in real time. That'd be great, Taylor.
You'd be in a great spot if things work that quick. So I've got my raw material allocated to create this finished good that I'm selling. I've got my operations complete here, so I can now complete my order. I've done one product here. And I now have enough stock to fulfill that order. So I'm going to go back to my invoice. And number one, I'm going to get paid. I'm going to say, hey, I've received this $15 from my customer, so I'm going to take that payment. And then I'm going to fulfill that order. I've got enough stock now because I created a work order for that product. So I can commit one to this order. And I now have that fulfilled. So I've received an order from Shopify. It's synced to Descara. I was able to get that to my shop floor by creating a work order, able to fulfill any details, have that mapping to the invoice. I was able to receive payment all on the same platform, as well as mark that as fulfilled. Again, all in Descara here, and using that API connection from Shopify to Descara, and then back to Shopify with those details.
Very cool, Taylor. Thank you. Thanks for walking through that with us. Super valuable the way we can get that information and work from start to finish through that process easily. We talk about having that two-way communication. Can you show me really quick, as you made those changes within Descara, were any changes made back in Shopify? Are they able to see what you just did?
Yeah, that's a great question. So like we talked kind of earlier, the API connection goes both ways. So when we receive that order in Shopify, it's going to come to Descara. When we receive that payment in Descara, when we mark that as fulfilled in Descara, that's also going to communicate back to Shopify, so those stock levels are taken care of. So if I go back into Shopify here, and I'm looking at order 1012, whereas before it was payment pending and unfulfilled. Now this
we
is
are
marked
still on the slideshow
Oh,
here.
yep. Sorry about that. I'm going to get to my stage here.
There we go.
I've got 1012, whereas before this was showing payment pending and unfulfilled. This is now reflecting paid and fulfilled using that API connection. If I was to go create another order for that same product, you'll see whereas before we had 5 available, now we have 4. So that API connection, the inventory levels are staying stocked. They are showing what I have available, and everything is communicating seamlessly. So everything is on the same page. Both sales platforms and my ERP, my MRP are all communicating in live time.
Very cool. Thank you, Taylor. So seamless, easy to work through. I think it's important to mention that while we were able to show Shopify today, we do integrate with many other e-commerce providers, and Taylor and our team are working hard with our clients to, if you have a specific need, to work with you to find ways to integrate with our solution. We're happy to talk more about that and find the ways that we can help you. You can reach me here on LinkedIn at Tim McLaughlin or at tim.mclaughlin@descara.com. Taylor can be found here on LinkedIn, Taylor Otto, or taylor.otto@descara.com. I think that about wraps it up for us today. Anything else you'd like to add, Taylor?
Yeah, just to echo what Tim said, we would love to talk to you about what sales platform you're using, and how we can connect that to Descara, how we can streamline your process for you, or if you saw anything else, any other tool that you thought might be useful in our software, we'd love to have a talk with you about it. So reach out to us via LinkedIn or via email. We'd love to hear from you.
All right. Thank you, Taylor. Thank you, everybody. We hope to see you next week for another webinar. We're here every Thursday live on LinkedIn at noon Central. We will see you soon. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.